And there we go. There we go. So now that I got it working, we'll see if Murph and Lisa and the rest come back and hang out. And see if we get anyone else to hang out. So now that I got it working, we'll see if Murph and Lisa and the rest come back and hang out. See if we get anyone else to hang out. So now that I got it working, we'll see if Murph and Lisa and the rest come back. See if we get anyone else. Hey, Reefin. There we go. That took a minute to get working. Oh, you go right ahead. Kids are important. Sounds good, Lisa. How's your night going, Reefin? Oh, yeah. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. It's always appreciated. Yeah. Not too bad. Spent better part of the night dealing with my grandmother had passed away there a couple of weeks ago. So unfortunately, now I got to go back down and help out my uncle who was living with her and get him moved. So that's going to be interesting. More time away from my fish tanks. Thank you. I appreciate that. Did you want to come in? It's a Google Hangout one, just so you know. So if you want to come in, you're more than welcome. That's the link. Yep, there we go. There's Bubba Shinobi. Hey, Bubba. Sounds good. Man, I'm so glad that I've got it this way that I don't have to actually show my face right now. I want to set it up more my tank than me, so it's not going too bad. I think I got this kind of partially figured out for the most part. So, in between the other fellas' streams, I can put mine up and people can hang out and ask questions, talk stuff. You're everywhere. Hence Shinobi. Yeah. 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 Murphy's Reefing was here a little earlier and said, "Are you going to put up a hangout?" Talk me into it, so I put up a hangout. Yeah. Yeah, I think you got to be a child of the '80s, man, to get what Shinobi is, and have owned a what was it, Sega Master System? I think was that was the Shinobi game, as I recall. Yeah, well, we get a few people in here, and it was from the old game. Yeah, I actually remember playing in the arcade Kung Fu, the side-scrolling game. That was fun, always fun. My tank, Lisa, the one in the picture there is a 120 gallon with a 40-gallon breeder sump. And it's pretty well stocked. Well, that's nice to have a few people in here at least. Oh, I remember Coleco. I had a friend had that when I had the Atari 2600, and he had Rocky, and it was a horrible game, but he had Rocky. So you know, Lisa, a 40 breeder is almost the same size as a 75, like in pure dimensions. I think, in all honesty, you might be a little happier with a 75. And it doesn't cost that much more. The old adage that everyone seemed to say to me was go with the largest tank you can afford. And you can get it already pre-plumbed. So you can go to a sump right off the top versus having to go hang on the back equipment. I mean, it's purely your decision. It's just my opinion. I'm just saying you might enjoy that a little more and it will up your fish game, right? So, and lighting wise, it won't change things all that much. Yeah. You know what? Reefing, that is so true. It's one of those things, it just goes up. It's always an exponential game with tanks, right? Yeah. You know what? I got my 120. You want me to scare you, Lisa? I got so lucky with my 120 gallon. I really did. Yeah. I got the stand, the tank, everything, the skimmer, and the guy built my sump for me for $800. So, I'm not one to talk. Like going to a 120 cost wise comparatively to a 75, that's the only thing I would say the difference is. Footprint's the same. 24 by 48, but it's only 18 high. I don't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, I got really lucky, Lisa. I really did. Um, there's a few scratches, but they're all on the side too, so it's not really all that bad. Always scour Kijiji. That's our friend up here. Craigslist for Canada, right? Oh, I hope Murph sees that this is up and running because I know he'll pop. Anybody want to pop in the Hangout? Just let me know. I'll hit you with a link. Two 120s. Yeah, and you know what, Bubba? That's the big thing. Corals are what cost the money. Fish do too, I guess, but we're not all buying Achilles tangs and harlequin tusks and really expensive fish. Um, the mystery wrasse was the one I was willing to invest the money in, but the wife really loves the Lubbock, so I got kind of lucky there. Oh, well, there you go. Doing it with the phone? Oh, yeah. The stock market today was, yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, that sounds like a great idea, Lisa. I think everybody, because everybody's watching Tina, you know, if you were to record some video and, if you wanted, you could post it through mine if you don't want to do your own channel. I suggest doing your own channel and, you know, get on the live stream with everybody. We can do it in mine, do it in Rico's, do it in Broader would do it. Anybody would do it. And help you set that up. Oh, yeah, she is. Yeah. There's no, there's a few things you can do wrong, but there's very little you can do wrong. The thing is to just stay logical with it when you're setting it up. That's why I suggested the 75. You can get yourself a reef ready 75 for not much more than a regular 75. And then it's plumbing, and plumbing is easy. Don't let it daunt you. Dry fit everything. Like if you watch my setup at the 20-gallon, it's the exact same thing. It's coming down to what kind of overflow you want. More than anything else, I guess. And if I start talking too much, guys, it's okay to tell me I'm talking too bloody much. It's just because no one else is talking, so I feel this need to take up the space in the air. It's, you know what? Don't use the word. No, I'm going to say that wrong. It isn't that there is technical stuff, but it's more. It's the same basic principles, right? So you're going to set up your tank. You're going to set up your filtration. Now, where you're probably saying technical would be how to do the plumbing, flow rates and such, that kind of thing. That's true. Yeah. Like what really kind of sucks for me is the only place to get a majority of my plumbing is a place called Northeast Plumbing here in St. John, and they're only open till 5 o'clock. So my job when I was working, I couldn't get there. Like I literally worked those hours they were open and more, which is why my unemployment is as high as it will be. Thank you, Canada, for giving me the half of what I was making. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Bubba. That's exactly it. Set it up. Decide on how you're going to cycle the tank, and don't. Yeah, bingo. Don't be rushed. All right. You want to do a fishless cycle? Do it. Go to Amazon. Order a Dr. Tim's One and Only kit. It'll come with the bacteria booster and the ammonium chloride, so that you can fishlessly cycle the tank. You're not going to torture any damsels doing it. Um, do learn your testing at that point. None of that is hard. None of that is hard. Believe me. Believe it. Bubba will tell you right now, so will AR, right? Nothing about that is hard. It seems daunting until you realize that. So all I got to do is dump half a cup of salt into my bucket right? So if it's per gallon, so half a cup per gallon for the most part, that's just a vagary, but like Instant Oceans, half a cup. Get a refractometer. Do not get sucked into a hydrometer. You will be so much more happy. Circulation, you know what? That comes down to money at what you want to spend, right? I use Jabos and Coral Box stuff because it's like 1/3 the cost. And you can do that too. Yeah. You can throw a shrimp in, but you know what? If you buy a bacteria booster like ATM Colony or Dr. Tim's One and Only, um, I can't say good things about Seachems. I found it a little lacking, a little weak. Stability, I think it's called. But ATM, Marine Colony, Dr. Tim's One and Only, and Birospira from Instant Ocean are pretty decent. Yeah, exactly. Like we all talk about, there's several ways to do things. You can just put the tank up and let it run for a month on its own. It'll do it on its own. Those three that I mentioned work. I've used all three. In fact, I don't know if you noticed in that last video I just did, Lisa, you see the hair algae on the rock? Real fine golden color. That is because I rushed the corals into the tank. Thanks. Yeah, Bubba. Exactly. That's what I was going to say. It's not true live nitrifying bacteria. Yep. If you're not going to coral, you can keep your light cycle really low. Have your blues on maybe 6 to 8 hours. Don't turn on any full spectrum stuff and put a couple of clowns in there with that nitrifying bacteria, and you'll be same day. Just keep an eye on the guys. Test your ammonia once a day for a week or so, maybe 2 weeks. Keep an eye on them and have a few gallons of fresh saltwater mix ready to go, and no danger to the fish. You won't hurt them. You won't stress them. One thing I don't like about the Hangouts version of this is I cannot tell how many people are in 4 watching. Okay, I got to do it that way. All right. Wonder if we'll get Murph back. Get someone in here yakking besides me. Yep. That's exactly how it will work. I gotta check something here, guys. You probably hear me go a little quiet. Actually, you probably won't hear me go all that quiet. I'll just do something here in the background. Kind of funny. I get constant texts and stuff all the time from people about their tanks, even this late at night. I am not going to lie. I'm not going to say it's easy if it's not. As you seem like you're pretty on the ball. Your tanks on freshwater side look great. You understand that there's something called an ammonia cycle. Without looking at us, with 3 heads, like we got 3 heads. So yeah, it's don't feel as daunted by this. Just remember that. I guess maybe, and Bubba, you can kind of back me up. Are you going to buy your own RODI unit, Lisa, or are you going to go buy water from your local fish store? Or have you decided on that part yet at all, or thought about it? Oh, sweet, Bubba. Oh, I've so wanted to work at mine before it closed down. Yeah, it's Kind of, Lisa, when you know you got the bug, you know you got the bug, right? So you're going to go buy. Now, I will say this, and there's those that would jump on me, but you know what? RO water is better than tap water. If you can find a place that regularly, like Walmart, Sobeys here, I don't know what they have up there. I don't know if Sobeys is Loblaws, I think is what you guys have up there. Um, they have those auto water, refillers. You can put the bottle up and do it. I did that for a full year, and I only ran into a problem when I got bubble algae from a local fish store in Moncton, the one may have heard me complain about. But other than that, it was fine. But I would not go corals again that way. But if you were just going to start off with fish and tiptoe your way in, that's an easy way to get purified water. Yeah, exactly. See, Bubba's same deal. It's not fully necessary. Just don't use tap water. Oh, tap, tap. Craig's smoking again. Oh, my. Like, do you have any, American, who popped out a channel on us? Somebody left. Oh, whatever will I do? Yeah, thanks, Bubba. Nice to be backed up on a thought process. Like, what other questions do you have, Lisa? I mean, you got two guys here that got enough experience to make you dangerous anyway. Yeah, pretty much. And you guys can disagree with me or not, but I believe what BRS TV said during that 52 weeks of reefing. It's all about water quality. Everything else will follow if you keep good water. So the parameters, and the guys will probably type in here too, would probably be at first ammonia, maybe nitrite, and then start looking for nitrates. That'll give you an indicator that the tank's sort of it's maturing, it's not matured. Um, and then once you kind of have the basics, it's the same thing with freshwater as it will be with salt in that regard. When you're starting to get into coral, then you're going to want to get calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium. It's exactly like fresh in the beginning. You're just dealing with ammonia, nitrites, and nitrates. And phosphates to a degree, but if you have no coral, it comes down to and salinity. Well, salinity is a parameter that isn't the same as testing. You're not really testing that. You're just checking to make sure you're staying on target. With a refractometer, it makes it easier. I keep mine at 2.5, so it's 1.025 specific gravity. Yeah, see, master test kit, refractometer, $20. Yep, buy a bloody calibration fluid. I can't stress that enough. People doing it off their RO water, their RODI water. I mean, 0 to that point where you're supposed to be gets pretty nasty quick, right? On a sliding scale, you could be off so bad it's not funny. So if you bought that kit on eBay and the refractometer and a little $5 bottle of 0.33 solution, dial your refractometer in. It's as simple as like you would be testing the water. Make sure it's set right. That way you know your salt water is the same every time, and you can then calibrate it once a month. I do. Some people don't. I do. Oh, and do yourself a favor. Get an automatic top-off system. Trust me. And you can get one pretty cheap. Coral Box A100 is like $100, $120, and it will make you feel like $1,000,000 that you don't have to sit there and keep pouring water in every day. Evaporation on it depends on the size of the tank. My 20-gallon tank, I probably burn through about maybe around 4 gallons a week of fresh water going in. My 120 will burn through 10 gallons in 5 days. Oh God, I couldn't do it, Bubba. I did that. I did the hand stuff, and I just said, "This is crap," and bought an ATO. Yeah. I actually am to the point. I'm debating putting in a dehumidifier in my living room. I'm not noticing anything, but I definitely, being an asthmatic person and a smoker, I can feel the difference when I walk in the room. So for me, it's like, okay, I'm definitely going to get, something to kind of ease that up. Yeah, I hand dose. Yeah, I haven't gotten the dosing yet. I actually, if you want, Lisa, I'll do a full on tour. I think I've kind of done that, but of the 20-gallon, which would be very similar, right up to about 75. Yeah, Tons has great ATOs, Bubba. Absolutely awesome ones, but they're expensive. Yeah, the Smart ATO always was one I looked at too. The one you're talking about, the one with the optical eye and the magnet on the outside that does all the work, the monitoring. Hey, Ricardo. I always like that one. I was mentioning the ones I use is the Coral Box A100 because my local store guy brings them in, and it's got the eye and the emergency off as well. Hey, Dave, what's going on? Starting to build up. You want to pop into the Hangout, Dave, or you want to just hang out and chat? You still feeling under the weather? Not much, Ricardo. We're actually just been discussing helping Lisa out with her want to jump into salt water. Oh, Bubba, you got to attach that, man. No problem, Dave. I'm not sure if Dave was under the weather or not. I thought I heard that today, so or read that, I should say. Yeah, I don't think you're ever going to get someone in a reefing channel that doesn't tell you to do it, Lisa. Everybody wants to do salt in here, I think. Everybody complains about the weather. And actually, Dave, my kid was throwing up today, my 19-year-old. Heard him ralphing his guts up earlier, whether he's sick or partied too much. I don't know. Well, that's good to know, Ricardo. Snow and rain here today. He's not sick, folks. There we go. So Dave's fine. Now you're going to get a blue jawfish, a blue head. What do they call them again? Blue face? Blue head? I don't remember. Ah, Bubba, he's not sick. I had misread something. Yeah. The general concern for Dave. Yeah. And nothing wrong with that. I'm actually glad to see people actually care enough to even ask, I guess. I love that little bit of your clowns to metal music there, Dave. That was great. Tail spot blendies are awesome. I like. We had one. We named him Tail Gunner because he always backed into the holes. So yeah. Pelifrey. Who's Pelifrey? Is there someone in here named Pelifrey? Oh, and Dave, you inspired me to almost take the footage of that powder brown attacking my fox face and putting it to drowning pools. Let the bodies hit the floor. So time it out with let the bodies hit the floor. And when the big scream comes on, have it when the powder brown was attacking them and they were doing their little spin dance. But that would get flagged. So I may have to grab that from you for sure. I've got my own music, but the problem is that proving it to YouTube is almost impossible. That it's yours. So, but yeah. So, Lisa, or anyone else for that matter, any questions? Let's get to some fish and reef talk. Well, you can thank Logan Paul for that. He probably just tripped them into what they were going to do anyway. Yeah. You a musician too, Dave? I never thought to ask that. Yeah. No. Yeah, covers would be. Yeah, you get those ones that are like, this is how you play this. And yeah, you know they're demonetized instantaneously. And if not pulled entirely. No. Yeah, it's kind of funny that I've seen YouTube now as my main source of entertainment. Is she using your? Oh, I'm gonna have to check that out. I don't remember how I bumped into her channel, but it's kind of cool. I actually got asked the other day about using a band that was in our cover of Machine Head by Bush uh, for stuff, and I'm like, no, I can't. Not on YouTube. I said you can watch it on Facebook all you want. Well, and Bubba, that's just it. There's so much to this hobby beyond choral. Choral's one thing. You know, um, Unfortunately, Ricardo, no, I have no experience with that. I live in Canada, as does Lisa, and we can't order from them. So, but I've heard decent things. Yeah, I go to Live Aquaria to find out the basics on a fish. Um, and their compatibility chart's pretty cool. It's not the be all end all of it, but it gives you a really good idea of if you should or should not get a certain fish. We sure do. And the only reason I know a lot about it is there was a guy and a couple of guys here had a shop in St. John called Maritime Reef. And unfortunately, they shut down because the two of them had full-time jobs besides the shop, and they just couldn't keep going. But yeah, they were the ones who told me about the import rules and restrictions and why we can't get around some of that stuff. Well, thank you, Dave. We like you guys too. Magnificent anemone, huh? Yeah, the 14-day guarantee is kind of nice from Live Aquaria too, right? Trying to think. We need you to ask other questions, Lisa. Oh, there you go. Oh, that's right too. Yep. An Achilles tang is a great beginner fish, Lisa. Is that what you're saying? Clowns. Yeah. I wholeheartedly agree with Dave. I think we've all just said that. Get a couple of clowns and pop them in your tank with some nitrifying bacteria. There he is. I don't know what happened there, buddy. Hey, Murph, want to pop in? Go right ahead, Captain. I need some help in here, man. I'm just stoked I got 6 people. Are you kidding? That's awesome. Okay, so how do I link that, Dave? You're the expert. Give me a moment, guys. I'll figure it out. Okay, nope, that isn't it. So, what do I got to do? Okay, so you're saying they got to take the link I just put in and put bit.ly? Bit.ly on? I do not understand. Make Dave a wrench? Okay, hold on. There we go. I handed the band hammer or wrench. Call which one. Yep. Well, he's got the experience, so for me, it's a little new. So yeah. Yashigobis are great. I want a Yashigobi for my 20. From the invite tab and Hangouts, I will do so, sir. There we go. All right, I'll be back in just a sec. That was sent, Dave. I think I did that right. Yep. All right, I'll be right back. There we go. Well, there's Dave.
I just hijacked your live stream.
No. It's all good, man. I had to go take my meds, guys. Sorry about that.
What we need to do, for some reason, YouTube adds something to every link you put in to redirect, so they get some kind of credit for you clicking on that link, whatever that's called technically. So we have to take that original invite link and bring it to what we call bit.ly.com, and it shortens links. You may have something else in Canada that you use. I don't know.
.com. Give me 2 secs.
So bit.ly.com. I don't know if I post the link I used. It may only let PC users in, not cell phone mobile people. So once it goes into the YouTube chat, it's been tainted.
That's funny that they do that. Here, let's try that first.
They started doing about 2 months ago.
That's well, that just sounds like a YouTube thing to me.
Yeah.
There we go. So Murph, or is it Pat or Murph? I know it's Murphy's Reefing, but is it because it's Pat Murphy?
Yes, it's Pat Murphy.
Here we go.
So,
just a sec, guys. Oh, go ahead, Dave. No.
All right. So what us mods can then do is take that shortened link.
Right.
And we copy it as text or whatever it said. Let me see. I got to remember. Copy link address. And then when I repost it, it seems to work for everybody. I don't know why. You can do it too. Copy link address and then repost it, because sometimes the bit.ly shortened link doesn't work either. But see, that link I just put there should allow anybody to get in.
There we go.
So, yeah, it's a stupid thing we had to figure out. And actually, Rico figured it out. And Rico knows less about computers than I do. And I don't know much.
Sweet. Actually, I'm glad that worked.
Yeah. But Rico's the live stream king, so.
Yeah. And so I'm not out to take no crowns, but I am out to pump my own channel. So
definitely. You know what kind of watch time you get from a live stream? It's incredible.
You know what I mean? And like Lisa's doing what Tina's doing, she's getting ready to step in. And it's like, why not? You know, you got everybody from beginners to pros. Well, pros a relative term.
Right.
You know what I mean? But people, I have, okay, to be honest, Lisa, the way I found out you could jumpstart the tank was because when I ran into Ick, I had to dump all these guys in a tank, and I just sort of sat there when I was putting them in this brand new setup, fresh tank, nothing in it. And I'm going, aren't they going to be really, really bad off here? And a buddy just said, just put some ATM colony in it. And I'm like, why? He goes, well, it'll kick the nitrifying bacteria up, and then you won't have a huge ammonia spike. And then just watch your fish and test and do your water changes, because it is only a quarantine tank, so there's nothing else helping out with the biological filter. And all of a sudden it's like, well, why can't I just do this with a new tank? So I tried it, fingers crossed, and it worked just great. And, there's other things you'll run into. And so Murph, there is a link with the redirect on the end of it there that Dave put up. If you want to hop in, you go right ahead, buddy.
He knows how it works.
I'm sure he does, actually. I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
Well, you know what the funny part is, and maybe I'll extol some info I know. Mr. Saltwater Tank did an interview, and if you look it up, you can find it, where he talks to the actual Dr. Tim.
Okay.
And he talks about, and here's how you can trust him. It has nothing to do with tanks, no business card stuff. He's literally standing there. He's a microbiologist. So his whole dissertation was on nitrifying bacteria, right? So literally that's his doctorate. And it was really wild because when he was talking, I mean, I sort of understood it. It's not really a field I was going to go into. But what he found out is like, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with this too. What is it? Nutrifin Cycle. You guys know what I'm talking about? They sell it at the pet stores for people to start up their freshwater tanks, dump this in. You can put your fish in right away.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And what it was is it's high level bacteria, they call it. So high levels, the stuff where they're collecting this from is from sewage treatment plants. So they're processing it and then putting it in a bottle. And the problem is, of course, it dies in shipping like anything else does, blah, blah, blah. So they're sucking people in to putting this in their tank. And he's like, well, what's wrong with it? And he tests it. And of course, when he said he was testing it, most of it's dead because it's high level. It's not meant to survive for very long. So when he did the low level, because of the medley. What? Okay. Sorry, wife, aggro.
That's it.
But no, and I guess the whole thing is that, yeah, it is gross, but you know what? It does work, but only if it's alive. So I tell everybody who's doing freshwater, don't buy your cycle if it's more than 3 or 4 months old and we're just getting into spring and summer. Get the shipments that come in later. So there's a date on the bottle. Check the date. Now, ATM Colony, which is, if you've ever watched Tanked, that's who those guys are sponsored by, is the acrylic tank manufacturers, ATM.
Right. Yeah, I've seen it.
Those guys and Dr. Tim's, they basically, there's a lawsuit somewhere in there that Dr. Tim's saying they ripped him off, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, if you're going to put that up publicly, your dissertation on your stuff, someone's going to be able to read that and figure that out. So they just went and did the same thing. And then Instant Ocean has Birospira, which is essentially the same thing as well.
Right.
And they're low-level bacteria. So that's why they survive longer. They still have issues, but that's why they survive. They do better because they're a low-level. And that's when it gets beyond me. I'm like, well, for me, bacteria is something that makes me sick. Yeah,
makes you sick. Hey, I heard somebody else click a lighter.
Yeah, that would be me. I'm a smoker too. I don't know if now Murphy's Reefing. Is your name Pat or is it Murphy?
Whichever one you want to call me.
All right, I'll just don't call you late for dinner, right?
Mostly everybody calls me Pat or Murph or Murphy or
works for me.
Whatever.
Well, thanks for coming in.
Your name is Pat Murphy, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. I'm just trying to dig up here and get my email address out, but I never got that email from you, so just so you know.
Oh, you never got that one from me?
Yeah,
or from Murph?
From anybody.
Really?
nobody emailed me tonight, and I looked at it and it's spelt right. So Doesn't matter. Oh, chat's so busy it's gone already. Look at that.
Oh, Daniel Chan, and here I go, ignoring the, we were talking about that today. Daniel, were you talking about me or Lisa, or who were you saying has great videos there?
Probably me.
Yeah, there we go. It's Dave. I'll go with that. It's all good.
Dave.
I don't believe half of what I say and none of what you hear.
Oh. I usually do my 10-minute babble.
Yeah.
But I've been cutting them short now. Since they took something from me, so I'm not giving them as many clicks,
There you go.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, Al's in here.
So I think me.
Al is AL. I don't know what he likes to be called, but we know his whole name because he's been here so long.
Right.
He just changed it to AL. So when you call him Al, I guess he'll answer, but I think it's initials.
Well, it's nice to see you all in. I guys honestly appreciate any support anyway. I just sort of jumped in, started making the vids there not that long ago, and decided that I'm going to go whole hog at it because I know enough to be dangerous.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I definitely know more on the fish side. Coral has been a struggle. I'm good with LPS and softies. SPS, I will kill an SPS faster than I can look at it funny. And it's really disappointing because, I love sticks. When I'm looking at them, my wife nowhere near as into that as I am, but, she definitely supports my euphilia addiction, so.
Oh, my girlfriend didn't get it either. She liked the bubble algae. She thought that was really cool. I was like, but I don't want that.
Nope. Al, you want to talk about copper? What's your question on copper? What levels are toxic? Anything above, it's all toxic. But 0.22, as I recall, is the therapeutic level. And once you start to climb above 0.22, things start to get bad quick.
Yeah. Al's our freshwater enthusiast who's been on the fence for a saltwater tank for, a year now?
Oh, come on. You got to get in, man. Lisa's getting in. You got to get in. Come on.
He knows his stuff, though. He knows his chemistry, and he knows all. If somebody comes in and asks a freshwater question, he's all over it.
Awesome.
So, Lisa, if you have a problem at freshwater, the guy right up there, Al, can help you out.
Yeah.
But Lisa's got some nice freshwater tanks. I'm not saying she needs help with that.
PPM. So everything with copper is PPM as well. You know what? I just thought about that. I am missing my pH test kit and my copper test kit. I was thinking about that today because I wanted to test my pH because I've got the fresh air coming in. I want to make sure that's working. It's PPM. I know that because I dealt with ick for 9 months. So yeah, I'm well aware of treating with copper. It is okay. Inverts. Okay, we'll talk about in the fish tank. So we'll just get to this. There is no way to technically treat ick in a fish tank. This is where the misnomer gets on my nerves. You can support the fish and just go through it, and if it works out for you, great. But any amount of copper beyond, and this is just a vagary here. So 0.22 is the therapeutic level. I've heard anything above 0.01 will start killing inverts, knocking them off quick.
Also, be sure to tell anybody who's new, if you buy saltwater fish from the store, do not put that water in your reef tank that they're in. Because most fish-only systems in the store have a high level of copper.
Yep.
Which is okay for fish, but not okay for any of your invertebrates.
Yeah, and it's I have actually now taken to quarantining my coral because of problems with the local fish stores. Now, my guy in Fredericton, no, he's great. But that really aggressive purple coral line that you see in the picture on my tank, that really deep red stuff, that came from his. And I'll tell you, any of my weakened corals from whatever happened prior, which was, I think I had a phosphate spike. I think, don't quote me because I didn't get the testing faster than things were kind of happening. It literally overgrew them. So If you watch a video I have and you see that ACAN and I'm doing the hydrogen peroxide around the ACAN trying to kill that stuff, that ACAN literally died within 3 days of that video because that coralline just went right over top of them.
Yep.
Wow.
Right, and just so angry.
Yeah. Plus, why spend all that money on supplements to feed your coralline algae?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, but, and yes, Bubba, you're right. Copper's in food. Copper's in a lot of stuff. So that ICP test will come back and say you have copper. It will be there because of generally it's foods from what I hear. There's certain foods that it's just because it was in the meat or it was in the manufacturing process that copper touched it. So it's not too bad, but that's why I run now. You can run Coopersorb in your sump for a couple of days, or you can also run take that last bit of RODI resin when you're packing your cartridge. I just throw it into a nylon sock and get about a good 4 or 5 grams in there, and I put it inside of my filter inside my sump, one of my pumps there with a filter casing, and strip it out for about 24 hours, and then take it out. Does the exact same thing, and it costs you a whole lot less.
I heard you talking about that the other night, and I'm still not ready to try it, but God bless you.
Yeah, it's, you know what? And I am going to get more info as we go on that one because my local fish store guy's the one who clued me in. And, there's, here's another one, Chinese pumps. Okay, so we're not talking about Jabos per se or Coral Box or any of those guys, but those cheap knockoff pumps, does anybody have any of those? I got tons. I can show you them. I use them for mixing. They have metal shafts, and apparently what they're saying, and this is a 5-year-old thing off R2R, Reef to Reef, was saying that this is causing metal leach into the tank. And my local fish store guy swears by a lot of cheap pumps in his sump area for purposes. Yep. And he noticed that his SPS tank was suffering a little, so he sent off an ICP test out of curiosity. Boom. And it came back and said he had titanium in his tank.
Wow. That's not cheap metal.
Nope. And I was thinking that too. I said, well, that's aircraft grade stuff. You should know that. You're an aircraft, aerospace engineer, right? Right. And he went, right. And he's the one who told me he said, you can use Coopersorb because, but that's basically meant, it is RODI resin. It's DI resin. It's just not the colored stuff, color changing. And it's a smaller, finer bead. But he said, I just went and did this and sent my test back out and all the metals were out of my water. And I changed out a few pumps, so on and so forth. But I want to get the amount because I will tell you this: you strip out too much out of your water, anybody will back you up. It's going to go bad.
Oh yeah, there's so many trace elements in your fresh water mix, your salt mix that you want in there. So.
Yeah.
When Coopersorb first came out, I've been running it for 15 years. Every tank I get, I throw it in there. But when it first came out, it said that it's not exhausted until it actually starts changing colors. And you can recharge it also.
Yeah, it's like Purigen that way. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I've only had it turn colors on me once. There's like 2 different colored beads in there. And actually, I did have one exhaust one time.
But that's pretty wild. That only once.
Yeah,
in 15 years.
When I was on well water.
Oh, that would do it. Yeah, well water generally has a ton of stuff in. That's why I always laughed. There's a video I did on algae. If you watch it, and pump my own channel. I'm not really trying to pump my channel here, guys, other than just to do this. But there is a video there about algae, and the guy was on well with a water softener, and he was wondering why he had an algae outbreak. And I just stood there staring at him. Really? Like well, what's the number one cause of algae? He goes, nutrients. I said, right. What's the other one then? And he goes, well, silicates. I said, right. What's your water softener made of? Well, it's like salts and stuff. Right. I said, silicates.
Yeah, and whatever those resin beads are that the salts are rinsing out.
Right. And please tutor homes. Oh, Right, yeah. That's right. You homeschool, don't you, Lisa?
Yeah, she said she had to go teach before, earlier or yesterday, or I don't know. They all seem to blend together. So I was just
Yeah.
curious what she taught. And then she was back like an hour later. So I was curious what she taught, but it makes sense now.
Yes,
Yeah.
type 1 is an auto. She gets pregnant.
Oh,
Oh,
her and Loke are going medical here, I think.
oh, okay. Well, I guess you're talking about diabetes, aren't you?
Mm. Yes.
I'm going to guess they're talking about diabetes. I have that, unfortunately. I'm a type 2 diabetic, thankfully, but
Oh, so you're not stabbing yourself with the needles every day?
no, but I will be. I know I am. I got bad habits. It's just a matter of time.
Right. Right.
Man, I just had a guy at work. He went to he had a pancreas transplant
Transplant?
and
Okay.
a
Wow. What was it, cancer?
kidney.
And a kidney?
No, his kidneys were failing because he was diabetic. And since he got his pancreas replaced, guess what? No more diabetes.
Get out, really. It actually reversed on him.
Yeah. So you need a new pancreas, bro.
New
See what you
pancreas.
learn on the live stream?
Or there's actually a method now where they can transfer half of your liver, put the enzymes from your pancreas into your liver, and it acts as both. But there's only like 2 doctors in the United States that do that. So,
yeah, Canada's not going to pay for that, man. I can tell you that right now.
And then you take the other half of the liver and you have it with some fine Chianti.
Yeah, and some fava beans. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right. There's a bunch of studies going on. Yeah, diabetes has turned into a thing that they're actually, oh wow, this is a problem, and it's like, you think?
Right. Yeah, my mom's got it real bad.
yeah, well, let's just put corn syrup in everything.
Yeah, you know what, Murph? I actually had somebody argue with me the other day, and I went, go look up Ed Bunt. And they're like, what? I said, look up a guy named Edward Bunt, B-U-N-T. Trust me. I said, read. I said, you will be amazed at the health problems that showed up after. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's it on that. One day coffee is bad. Then coffee's
always good. It's always good.
Coffee's, that's heavy fuel for me, baby. Yeah.
Oh. I can do a box a day on the K-Cups.
Oh, you know what? A box. Well, I guess I brew my own. I don't use K-Cups. I don't like Keurig. I don't know. I don't like the taste of it, I guess.
You got to find, what is it called? 8 o'clock Italian roast. Dark Italian roast. It's the only one I like. It's the only one I like.
The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup, baby. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then sometimes I go hardcore and I get out the little double espresso boiler, you know.
There you go.
I'm Italian. That's what we do.
So today I got a phone call from Cruz.
Okay.
About my, today's the first day I haven't had a coral loss in 4 days. And, he kind of talked to me yesterday. We took the GFO offline, and he was talking to me about what they do at their shop, and he thinks they've lost stuff due to mold in their house or in their shop.
Ooh.
Okay. Like they clean it up with Pine Sol or whatever because it's really natural, like cleaner. And I was like, well, that's kind of funny because we just got a new couch back in October, and I threw our old couch in the fish room, not thinking anything about it, and we put the area rug from in here in there also. And we had these guinea pigs with the hay sitting on the floor, like the pack of hay.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's bad.
What comes in hay? A lot of people may not know this, but there's usually mold, spores, and stuff in hay. Okay. Definitely. So, with the moisture coming off my fish tanks and being on a slab, yeah. So when I pulled that couch out, we called for special pickup to come get it last week. We was just getting rid of it anyways, but I pulled that couch out, and there was like mold all across the back of the wall behind the couch. Mm-hmm. It was freaking disgusting. But okay, so the day before that, the first coral that I lost got stung by a millie.
Right.
Okay, so it had a wound on it.
Mm-hmm.
The next day or 2 days after that is the day that I moved the couch. Well, I was taking the couch down to the curb, and my wife was like cleaning up the mold off the floor and stuff. And so he's thinking maybe the mold got airborne into the air, and it could have possibly infected the sore spot on the coral.
Wow.
That's very possible.
It's deep, but it's possible.
Yeah, because, yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I can really think of, because I have not changed my routine, all my parameters, except for magnesium are off, but my kid is not testing right, so.
Right.
That is,
Yep.
that's food for thought. I have a bit of a mold issue. I'm in a basement apartment. It's Canada. I have warm, it's relatively warm in here, and it's an older building, so I get a lot of moisture buildup on the windows, and we end up with mold on the windowsill that I constantly have to clean off. So I am probably going to make sure I get a dehumidifier running now.
Yep.
Right. Loki's saying GFO with a question mark. I don't know what that means.
Granular.
Will it help?
Probably what it is, granular ferric oxide, or are you asking
I'm
if
sure he
help?
knows. I'm sure he knows what it is.
Oh, okay.
Did the GFO have anything to do with it, Murph? That's what he's wondering, because he asked you to take it off. Is that just to get your nutrients up a little bit?
Well, he thought maybe I was stripping it, but I've been using the same regimen ever since July. So
Right. So it's probably the mold, Murph.
I would say that's the only variable that's out of whack. Yeah.
That feels very likely. Mold's a real problem, even for you as a person.
Yep. That's what I told my wife. I was like, get a squirt bottle out and dampen it down before you even wipe it up.
Yeah, they tell you we use Javex, right? So a little 1 part Javex, 2 parts water, and we'll spray it down before we touch it, because it is black, but I think it's only black because it's out and in the light.
Right.
But it's one of those things that it's right.
No, I'm highly allergic to it. So if I'm cleaning up something in the basement and it gets airborne, I am sick for 3 days, like really sick. Like, can't stand up because I'm dizzy sick.
Yeah.
So, and yes, bleach. But, not around the fish tanks, not a good idea. But anywhere else, just load it with bleach. Bleach will kill it.
Yep. Yeah, and then the only other thing that I can personally think of is that my nutrients were so low that I was running too high of alkalinity and stuff. But
right,
I would lean more towards the mold issue myself.
I'm throwing food in the tank, trying to get a reading on nitrates and phosphates. Just throw food in there.
Yeah, you were saying that yours is quite low.
I've got about a half of a 40 breeder just stuffed with Chaeto. So I'm trying to let some of it die out to keep the nutrients going back into the system, mainly the irons and iodines that it takes up.
Right.
But it's just doing too good a job on my export.
Yeah, I seem to be really good at growing it too, apparently. So I put a handful in that 20s sump, and I got to tell you guys this. So Pets and Ponds, the retailer up here in Canada that I bought my DCS 2000 through, took a return on it for an exchange.
Right. And
I took it out, and I just left the pump running in there thinking that's going to be okay. And I started to get a bacteria bloom. And I don't have a UV sterilizer anymore, even if it's one of the little hang on the back type deals. I'm like, oh, geez, what am I going to do? And I totally forgot that I have packet upon packet of polyfilter. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that stuff.
Yeah,
right. And it's great stuff for handling little issues like that.
You mean like the pillow stuffing stuff?
No, this stuff is called Majestic Aquariums is where I found out about it. Right on YouTube here.
Sheet form.
Yeah, it's like a woven sheet, but it's impregnated with the stuff that we all use. Right, so it's almost like a Cooper's orb, right, type deal, but it does more than one thing. And I put that into a filter with some floss and some other stuff, and started running it, and I'm clearing up already. So it was probably just a bit of a load on the tank that it wasn't aerating enough, and I wasn't filtering it because it's not going down through my sump and getting hit with the Chato and all the other good stuff. So I'm like, wow, that happened in less than 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and it just proves the point that Lisa was saying, the part she finds is the technical stuff. Is like flow in the tank is really all that's important. Breaking the surface is a good thing if you can, without making a mess. And all I did was take that, put the filter onto the pump, because it's a Chinese pump, so I can put a filter thing on it. And I just turned it up a little bit so it would start breaking the surface more. And everything started to clear up. It aerated. My fish were a little happier. Nobody was really, really, really suffering. The two clowns were doing awesome, right? But I just wanted to make sure I didn't beat that golden hair algae we were talking about.
Right.
Yeah, and that's that mold thing, though. That's really thanks for bringing that up, Pat.
Yeah, Cruz takes it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, that is really interesting.
Yeah, he called me. He said, "Man, well, I need to get off here. I've been sitting in my driveway for 40 minutes talking to you." I was like, "Well, okay."
Right. Yeah. Well, you know what? My wife, I always tell her, no, we're going to take a quick trip to the store for the LFS. And she's like, we'll be back at 5. Right?
Right.
It's 11. It's because this hobby lends itself to conversation.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel I'm like caged in here, like snowed in. I lent my son my car because his was broken. So I've been waiting for parts. So I got no car. The LFS is like 5-minute car ride away, and I haven't been there in a week.
Yeah, I was just saying to Lisa there, my and AR, Jeff, I guess. My grandmother passed away there 2 weeks ago, and I was down. And when I come back, dealing with the fish, all that's all good, and we're going to pick up that Lubbock's wrasse supposedly this Saturday. If things had worked out, which they did, and then I got a call from my mother asking me to go down and save my uncle, who's living in that house, and he's bipolar, and he's flipping out, right? Because now I think it's hit home for him, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I can do that. I don't want to. I want to go get my fish, right? But it'll work out anyway. If you think about it from the point of view that I can come back on Monday, the pump should be here on Monday, so that'll work out for putting a new fish in the system, right? And he's held that Lubbock's wrasse now for me for almost 6 weeks, so I know he's good to go straight in the tank and nice clean setup. So yeah, Lisa, if you go look up a Lubbock's wrasse, you'll see why my wife loves a Lubbock's wrasse. Lubbock.
She's asking about an aquatic life internal marine mini skimmer. I don't know that one.
I know it, the 115, the Aquatic Life 115.
No, she didn't say, but she says any thoughts on it.
Yep,
for her upcoming salt setup.
Sure. So. That's definitely a good question. So if it's an Aquatic Life 115, they work great. You will need to do a slight modification because it tends to, the level that you got to sit it inside the water for where the cup is, where the air actually comes out at the base near the cup, it tends to have water splash in, and then you get a lot of that slurping noise because it's trying to suck that down.
Fix video somewhere on that.
Super simple fix. Yeah, it comes apart without any tools, and what you would do is replace the airline, and you drill a slight hole, like you make the hole bigger, and you just run that airline right out and over the back. That's it.
Well, that was probably Fish at Hex's video.
Yeah.
Yep. He did it too. Yep. That's exactly the one he's got on Fish at Hex.
Yep.
Yeah. And
I got a big old skimmer down the sump, so.
Yeah, I'm so glad I'm not dealing with. I got the other one I have, and it will work for you, Lisa, if you're going to do like say a 40 breeder and you want to do hang on the back. I'm running the Coral Box S150, and if you look in the videos, that thing is kicking. Trust me, that's even better, way better actually. Yeah. And it's cheaper. It's only $76 here in Canada.
Yep.
I don't trust hang on backs.
So definitely follow Reef Girl Lisa. So she kind of explains things very well for the noob. And if you look at some of her older videos when she was running 2 nano-style tanks, you'll pick up a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And also, when she talks about a piece of equipment, you can get it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you bought the. So you've already got an Aquatic Life 115.
Yeah, she says she's stockpiling things in the corner till she has
Right.
everything.
Not a bad idea. Trust me, I forked out $1,600 on a 20-gallon setup.
Mhm.
Yeah, right. Dave. Oh God.
Now, I started back into the hobby. I've always had saltwater tanks and fish, but this is new. Reefing's kind of new for me. So I started out with this 24-gallon nanocube because it was on sale at Dr. Foster's and Smith for like just over $200. Had the stand, the light, the filter. All it needed was a heater. So yeah, that was a $500 invoice by the time I got everything I wanted, sand and stuff, and salt, test kit.
Every time. I'm only going to spend $200, $500 later.
Mm-hmm. And then that was out the door real quick, you know. Got another 20, got a 55, now I got 100.
Yeah, I went from 45. I got a 65 to replace it, thinking that I was going to go smaller, and then went to a 120. So,
yeah, I built a 100. It's almost the same size as a 120. It's just a little, not quite as long.
Oh, okay. So you're just short of 4 feet then.
Yeah, I'm 42 inches.
Lisa, I would say that the only problem most people have with hang on the back stuff, one, it can fall. That's something that you got to be concerned with depending on how it hangs. And the secondary thing is that you see it in the tank, so it obstructs what you're trying to do. So a lot of people just hate seeing the equipment in the tank.
Number one is overflowing onto your floor.
And onto your floor. Yep.
I don't know how many times I've come home when I used to have my old hang on the back, and I mean it was a big one, but like 5 gallons of water was on the floor.
Yeah. Was it a BH-1000? I had a BH-1000 Reef Octopus, and I love that thing. Skimmed great, but man, when it overflowed, what a pain in the butt.
No, it was a Core Life. It was made up for like 200-gallon tank, and they had the airline on it was the size of standard airline. It was nothing bigger. So the Venturi kept getting plugged up with either calcium or salt creep or whatever it was. So when it would lose the air, it was filling up with water and just overflowing.
Yep.
Sump, in my opinion, sump is the easiest to maintain. Yep. Canister filter is great if you're going to keep up with it. If you don't keep up with it, it's going to be more of a problem than a benefit.
Yeah, I was saying that to her earlier, Dave. Yeah, like if you're going to be really regular with your maintenance, it's not a problem, but it is so much easier to deal with a sump, Lisa. I think all of us will agree it's easier to deal with.
Otherwise, it's just like a diaper sitting there, just getting worse.
So how to initially mix your salt? Okay, you ready? I'll say it as simple as I can. You put your water in the bucket, okay? You follow the directions on the box, but generally it's half a cup of salt per gallon. Put a pump in there and a heater, and have the heater set to the same as your tank, so 78 degrees or whatever the case may be, and let it mix. And depending on the company, how long? If it's IO, they generally say 24 hours. You can get away with 4. If it's Fritz, 20 minutes. I love Fritz. And I think Coral Pro is 2 hours, as I remember. Red Sea, I think it's 2 hours.
No more than
4.
Yeah. Oh, no more than 4.
No more than because it cakes. It does its own thing and breaks down. That's right too. Once the reaction's over. So so there you go. And it is that easy. Really is.
Or fill the tank with water and keep adding scoops salt.
Who's asking the question?
Lisa.
Refractometer, Lisa.
Yep, said that to her too. I gave her a good checklist.
No hydrometer, please.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Hydrometer, tap it, look at it, tap it, look at it, come back, tap it, look at it.
Yeah.
3 different things.
I used to use the bobber style hydrometer.
That's not bad in a flask. That works in a flask, but in the tank, no, I don't trust the bobber.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. And the IO flask one that Dave's talking about, it works, but I'll tell you, I have had guys come to me and we've tested it and cleaned it and tested it and never got it to be accurate. They're only good for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good for a beginner, but they should give it to you with your first bucket of
Yeah, they
salt.
really should. Yeah, here.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can get a refractometer. Well, we can here in the States on Amazon for just over $20, and
Yeah,
it works.
she found one. Yeah. Yeah, they're not expensive.
And then spend another 10 and get a refractometer calibration fluid from I like the two little fishies. It was about $10, but it's almost a half a quart of the stuff. And
Well, that's a lot. I should buy that.
yeah.
Where'd you get that one? Where'd you get it from?
I don't remember where I might have picked
it's
it up
probably
on Amazon.
Probably
Yeah,
Amazon. Yeah.
but it calibrates it to I think 1025. So you can just, and that's perfect. That's right where one of the major lines is in the refractometer.
Now, wave makers. All right, there is so many varying opinions on that. It probably will be the best one you can afford. I'm using Coral Box now. Again, what size tank are we talking about? Because that makes a difference too.
Yeah. Well, first of all, you want to drill a tank for a sump. The hang on the back.
Too many problems.
The weirs, yeah, that's going to be a problem too. You're going to get a bubble in there, and so.
Or your Tom's aqua lifter on a CPR decides not to turn on with everything else and doesn't start the siphon again. And a 45 bow, is it drilled or not drilled?
I doubt it's drilled. But Craig can stop by and drill it for you.
Yeah, this time make sure I got a balanced friggin' bit. Oh, yeah. I cracked that 20.
Oh, no.
The bit was wobbling?
Yeah, it was wobbling, and I got to the end, and I thought, okay, one more hole. I'll make it. And no, it cracked. But thankfully, it cracked at the top, and I went, well, I'll replace it, but I need to use it for now. And I got it siliconed up, and not a leak, not nothing. But I know it's not if, it's when. So right. I'm gonna get a fresh 20 at some point, and just with the nice fresh bit, and I'll do it up, and then I'll just swap everything over. Right. So.
Right. Now, I was drilling 1/2-inch glass when I did my build, and the key to that is so the bit doesn't bind, because when it binds, it'll twist. Yep. You won't break 1/2-inch glass, but you'll twist your bit. Use a drill that has a screw clutch on it for like setting screws, and put it to the lightest setting. So it'll just, make that horrible noise instead of bending your bit.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. I used a electric drill, and I just kept it on full. I just didn't stop. Right, I just kept adding water and just going. And I was like, oh my god, this is so nerve wracking. I had never done it before. All my stuff was already pre-drilled. Right.
Yeah. I just had the wastewater coming off my RODI while I was doing it, and that was lubricating.
That would work.
Bit. Yep.
I saw a cool one too. Yeah, I saw one too. You fill up a 2-liter bottle, and you put a pinhole in it while it's full, and it got the cap on, and then you just lightly unscrew the cap, and steady stream of water. And if you need to stop it, turn the cap, and it stops. And I'm like, I never even thought of that.
Right. Hey, Murph, she wants to know if your mold was surface or did it get? I forget what she said before. So was the mold just surface mold, or did it get embedded into your home somewhere?
As far as I know, it's just surface right now.
They might have mold tests. They may have a mold test you can send out at Home Depot, where you just a little puck that you leave out for 30 days, and then you throw it back in the envelope and mail it. Might be worth it with the baby coming.
Yeah, just to find out. Yeah, because black mold is bad juju.
I mean, what the hell do you do once you get it? I've never had it before. We've lived here since 2011, so.
Right. Well, people can come in and tent your house.
Yeah.
It's going to work out real good for your fish tank, but there's some type of gas or fume that they fill your house with that kills the mold.
There's an abatement. Yeah, it's called mold abatement.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it can be. Definitely do the test. Find out if you have airborne mold. And if you don't, great. But if you do, then you're probably going to have to call up a company that deals with mold abatement, and they'll go looking for it to find out where it's coming from, because it's coming from somewhere if it is.
Yeah, they can come in with a sniffer. They may just have to pull a wall down in your fish room and spray it with bleach. It could be,
anything.
But it's worth doing the test. Is like, $20-$30, and
Yeah.
Because it's not going to do anybody any good if you got it. What's that? Legionnaire's disease and everything else comes
Yeah.
Lisa wants to know about random flow generators. Antonio comes on here from something. I always get him mixed up with aquarium cabinets, but he's not. Vivid Aquariums? Vivid?
Vivid Creative Aquatics.
Vivid Creative Aquatics.
There we go.
It's just a nozzle replacement, but he's got it hooked up so it's got a Venturi in it, and it pulls air in, water in from around it, and it mixes with the returned water, and it puts it into a random flow. So you don't just have water squirting in one direction; it actually changes direction and does kind of what a wave maker does.
Yep.
And yeah, Bubba's actually met Antonio, and they worked on his cube. Bubba helped him design the one for the BioCube, I think, is what Bubba has.
Nice.
So we kind of skipped over the wave maker question, I think.
Yeah, so we'll come back to the wave maker.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
It is. I've used Jabo.
Well, actually, I don't mean to interrupt, but Al asked her about the random flow generator because she was talking about wave makers. So yes.
Gotcha.
So
yep. I see that there.
Now go where you were going.
Yeah, so there's a few, right? If you're looking at cost, Jabo makes a few, and if you're going to go with a 45, I was using the PP4.
Yeah, 4 would be fine.
Yeah, and I used 2 of them, and I had them set Wi-Fi connected, so one was on, one was off, one was on, one was off. They're great, and they're not that expensive. They're about, in Canada, I think it was $89 a piece.
Right.
So that's not too bad. Coral Box does not make anything that small, but there's one coming, and it's called the A something Nano, and it's a much wider dispersal pattern. And if you look it up, Coral Box Nano Wave Maker, there's a guy who's got a video. He's got one of the pre-production ones, and the price on those is probably much less because I got my QP9s for my 200 or for my 120 for the cost of a Jabo PP4. So,
right.
You know, cost wise, it's Coral Box makes great stuff, and it's Jabo. It's just a different design.
Look up Jabo CP25 or a CP40, I think.
Yeah.
Those are excellent. They're the gyre style pumps, and they're about a third of the price of Max gyres or ice caps or you got it.
But the thing with the wave maker is that the DC ones with the controller can change the flow, where an AC one is just kind of blowing water constantly, just like your Fluval 2 that you have in your tank, or it's just one stream of water all the time. These can, ramp up, ramp down.
Yeah, we should say that's what we're talking about too. We're talking about DC pumps. I've had the Nano 240 from Hydor used in my 20 before, and it's just constant flow, right? It's just a power head, right?
I hate Hydor. Can I say I hate Hydor?
Oh, you can say it all you want, buddy. I'm not a big fan either.
I'm going to say it too because when I first set up the Nano tank, I had a Hydor wave maker in there. So it had a module, and then it ran 2 power heads off of it.
Yep.
But like on our normal wave makers, they'll actually, as soon as one shuts off, the other one will turn on, or real constant. But the Hydors were like click, you could hear it click on. Next one, click on. So it wasn't even making a wave in the tank.
Just clicking and making noise for you to listen to. Yeah.
It was the delay was so long it wasn't even making waves in the tank. So
it was just Hydor's jump to try and do, instead of making a proper DC pump, that was Hydor's jump to try and get in on that, Wi-Fi wave maker thing, right?
Yeah. They do now. They do make a wave maker pump. It's the Aquamia or Aquamai.
Right. Yeah. And how much? Because they're expensive to begin with, Hydor. So.
Like 120, I think. But it's like a super tiny pump, though.
Yeah. So 120 for something for a Nano, and costs will go up from there, right? Because the Corellia stuff's not bad, the actual pump, but there's no flexibility other than direction. You can just point it somewhere, and that's where it's going to go.
Right. Well, Game of Thrones fans will appreciate this. I call Hydor Hodor.
Hodor.
It's like Fluval. Fluval makes some decent stuff, but overall, there's freshwater market only. And when they tiptoed into saltwater, the first one I bought, the first light I ever had was the Fluval Marine and Sea LED, and it was fine, but there was no flexibility. It was on or off, right? So I could turn the blues on, or I could turn the blues and the whites on or off. There was no ramp up, ramp down. And when they tried to put one out, they were catching on fire. So they were all returned, and they just kind of went to crap. And the problem is that you got to remember, Fluval's owned by Hagen. And if you look up Rudolf Hagen and who they own, Marine Land, Fluval, the list goes on. They're just a big box company for aquatic supplies.
Yes.
Sorry, man, I have to disagree. I tried to watch Game of Thrones, and I just went, yep, nope, after 20 minutes. So,
no. If you can make it through if you can make yourself watch the first 2 episodes,
you're in.
It's on after that.
We may do that, right? Me and the wife, she's got me watching Supernatural, and it's okay. It's fine, whatever, right? I'm an Archer guy. I like cartoons, right? Like.
Yeah, make sure you're not watching around kids.
Yeah, oh man, that's like that one. Anybody watch Big Mouth?
No.
Watch Big Mouth on Netflix. Trust me, you'll be sitting there going, God, I hope kids are not watching this.
I thought it was just a guy thing, but all the girls like Game of Thrones too. I was like, sword fights and movies? I'm there.
I ain't mad, Al. What are you talking about? Mad? You mean like I'm crazy?
Yeah, because you don't like Game of Thrones.
Because I don't like Game of Thrones? I'm sorry.
My wife just found Game of Thrones last year. I've been watching it for quite a few years, and she was like, "Well, I see you watching this, and everybody talks about it. I'm gonna have to watch." So she like went on a binge and just like watched an episode every night and got through the whole 7 seasons. So yeah.
Yeah, no, really, Al. We have a threshold for stuff, and that's all. I'm sure we'll get into it at some point. And it'll be when we can binge watch all whatever amount of seasons or something. But it just kind of was like, I know, I'm in the minority. That's for sure. Yeah.
All right, Lisa. Lighting comes to money. How much money do you want to spend on your lights? There's all different levels. And to me, the more expensive lights just offer you more tweaking, which can be a bad thing and a good thing. For a beginner, black boxes, Ocean Revives, that's your entry-level stuff, and it will all grow corals, LEDs.
They do grow corals.
Yeah, and if you have no one to do any kind of soldering for you, changing out LEDs and that, on the black box front, check SB Reef.
Mars Aqua works. I got Mars Aqua growing coral. You can.
They do, but I swap out the warm white, the 6500Ks, and the greens.
I got you. So. I didn't, and it works. So I'm just saying, just for.
Oh, and you can do that too. And in Canada, I can tell you what it cost. Free shipping, $140, and it was here in 3 days.
Yep.
So.
That's not bad. I can do black boxes for $89. Get it tomorrow on Amazon.
There you go. Yeah. And the LEDs you have on your tanks now will not work. I can tell you unequivocally. Yeah.
You'll know the difference when you look at a Reef LED. You'll just be able to see it. Especially, she's got blue eyes like I do. So if they'll annoy your blue eyes, you will know.
Yeah, and go to Walmart and get 2 Stanley digital timers and put them on your black box. One for the blue and one for the whites, and you'll never have to worry about it.
No,
and don't look at it when you plug it in.
Husband can solder, but he hates your hobby. Yeah, so he probably won't solder your lights for you.
Probably not. You'll have to send them to me. I'll do it for you and send them back. There we go. I'm going to be buying a batch of LEDs here shortly. I'm going to do a video on it. You could do it. That's how simple it is, right? So, but it's one of those things that that's a contentious topic, actually, if we think about it, guys. There will be people that will argue that you shouldn't buy anything other than a Hydra 26 or a 52 or an AI Prime. Now, if you're going to do a 45, the only thing I will say, you can use one AI Prime, but the problem is it doesn't really do 2 feet. It actually is about 18 inches of space. Murph, I can hear you breathe. You all right, buddy?
He has a little breathing problem. He's all right.
He's like me? Okay, you're like me. No, I have my moments. I think you guys heard me today. Like, it's like, oh, yeah, the weather's definitely getting on my nerves.
Yeah, I didn't take Claritin today, so.
Yeah.
Bubba says her husband's going to hate us for sure then.
Oh, yeah. He's gonna, I got to find that guy, Craig, man. I'm going to kick his ass.
Every time I'm on here, my wife walks past me. She whispers in my ear. She's like, "Are you watching or listening to your fish porn right now?"
Fish porn.
Yeah.
Are you what? Anybody seen the meme? It shows a woman whacking a guy in the head, right? And she goes, why are you talking to, or why are you watching fish videos again? Can't you watch porn like normal guys?"
Right.
Yeah, and it's true, right? Like I told my wife, I don't watch nothing but fish videos. And she started laughing, and I'm like, well, no, I watch F1 stuff, and she started laughing again, right? Like, the three things I'm into is all I ever watch. Either it's aircraft, well, I guess pet stuff, right? So I watch Viper Keeper on YouTube here because venomous snakes fascinate me.
Right.
I don't want to keep them. I want nothing to do with them, right? But they're fascinating. And then fish, of course, right? That's all right. I mentioned a fish tonight, and you guys might be familiar with it. I wonder if Lisa picked up on it. It's called a harlequin tusk.
Yep.
That's my dream fish, and I can't keep my dream fish. So
why not?
I'd have to strip out stuff out of the tank to keep them. You can't have inverts, and you need a big tank too, right? A harlequin tusk, I think the minimum they say you should have is a 240. As I recall.
I love them. They look like they just ate a blue popsicle.
They do. They are so awesome looking.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Joe Urban's got one, but he said it hasn't touched anything in his tank.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Fish have personalities. Maybe he got lucky. He got one of the ones that isn't going to do it, right?
No, I mean, they are in the rat. They're in the wrasse family, so yeah.
Yeah.
Deathmage has a couple of triggers, and they don't tear nothing up. But she does feed like a mama.
Yeah, right there. No, eat this. Don't bite the glass. Don't eat the inverts. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But if you're willing to take the risk, and that's it. It's all about risk at that point, right? It's, when it comes to wrasses, right? Now you look at Mike, Aaron's Aquarium there. He's got wrasses in there I wouldn't personally mix.
Yeah.
But he does, and it's working out for him, and it proves the point. Don't say no. Don't, and I hate to say it, guys, and sorry, here comes the rant. That guy in Moncton, where I live, can just take the better part of a walk off a very short pier. He will sit there, and I've watched him destroy somebody's dream of a fish tank.
Right.
And I'm like, what are you doing? You're shooting yourself in the foot on a sail?
Yeah.
You are not the fish police, buddy. You know what I mean? Like, within reason, explain to that person how come they can't or shouldn't, not can, shouldn't keep that fish. And they're logical. Don't talk them out of it. Talk them into it and walk them in the right direction. If we all sat here and told Lisa that, no, you have to, she'd never want to be in the hobby. Nobody would.
She wouldn't be on your channel.
Nope. Well, I got a pretty sweet voice. Come on now.
That's it. That's why she tuned in.
Yeah. But, it's the same thing with, who was I watching? I watched Solid Gold Aquatics. Anybody ever watch her, the Goldfish Girl?
Yes, yes. Yeah. You have two different color hair?
Yeah, and she is fabulous to watch. And when I've met Joey several times, actually, as well. He's only down in Truro, right? And I've gone to One Fish, Two Fish, and there he is. And he's mobbed in that store in Dartmouth. Mobbed.
We all like when he comes on the live streams too.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and I'd love to see him here someday. I'm not going to please come to him. No, if he does, great. If he doesn't, that's fine too. Yeah. And I was talking to him, and he did mention, he goes, I know your voice, and I went, oh, you do, right? And he goes, Reefer Madness, right? And I'm like, yeah. Thank you, right? It's to be recognized by voice alone, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
And I was watching his video there tonight. One of his the baby pearl stingray got in behind his work background.
Oh, jeez.
And he got her out. And I'm thinking, well, he knows better. I was thinking at first, why are you trying to dig her out? She should get out on her own. And then it's like, oh, I bet you he looked into it and she couldn't get out on her own.
Right.
So he got her out and blocked up the hole she had gotten in behind that work with and that. And it's really interesting to watch him because he's so passionate about freshwater. And I'm thinking, man, I could never get into freshwater. I tried, and it just, what a boring bunch of fish unless you go with stingrays or you go with, these, much bigger fish. Yeah. That's just my opinion, right? I mean, looking at a pearl gourami does nothing for me, man. Come here and look at my blue tang.
No, I'd rather look in my sump with a flashlight at midnight.
Yeah,
What the hell is that? When did I get one of those?
I tell people when they say, "Oh, you don't like freshwater?" Yeah, take a Taylor Swift on that, man. Shake it off. It's all right. You're good. Yeah.
I had freshwater. I started with freshwater.
Yep.
I was a kid with a 10-gallon tank on my dresser, like every other kid in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all nothing changes. Boys still want their toys. They're just more expensive.
Mm-hmm. I used to ride my bicycle in the winter to go get fish. Oh, I need an alligator gar. It's only like 30 miles
alligator
away.
Gar of all fish.
Oh, I had to have it.
Yeah. Yeah, you watch. Do you ever see Joey's video on that? The alligator gar that he threw in the garbage bin overnight, and it was still alive in the morning in Canada.
They're creepy.
That is a scary thought.
Mm-hmm.
There is
Then I had a needle nose one.
Yeah. Thank you, Al. That's exactly it. And thanks for bringing me back on point. There is no such thing as you can't do something in the hobby. There are certain rules, and even then they're very loose, but there are certain things like if your tank's full of ammonia, you probably shouldn't put a fish in it. I'm just saying. Like there's certain things like that, but
if
I've tried
2 feet long, you probably shouldn't get a fish that gets a foot long that loves to swim.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just it. That's where this guy in Moncton got, and it got to me. It's like, why didn't you sell them a couple of clowns for their 20-gallon tank? Blah blah. It would have been fine. And he just looked at me, right? And I'm like, okay, I know where we're at here. We're done. Yeah, thanks for all the pests that you sold me.
Yeah.
But and I wish him all the best. But he doesn't get my business anymore. And when people ask me, it's like, do you want my honest opinion, or you just want me to tell you to go check it out? And they're like, well, I said no, because there's two different answers. Go check it out for yourself if you've got any experience in the hobby. If they have none, I'll tell them take everything he says with a grain of salt and research it more. Yeah, because he's awful. No, I mean awful. Badmouth other stores, and there's not that many stores here. There's four in Atlantic Canada. So it's like you have Norm in Fredericton, Salty Cave, Derek's Reef Shop in Moncton, One Fish, Two Fish in Dartmouth, and AFK Reef in Halifax, which is they're like right next to each other basically, and one's across the harbor. That's it. That's all you have. And then most of us have to order from Reef Supplies, or we have to order from Pets and Ponds or Big Al's Pets. That's it, and then there's other manufacturers and stuff. There are guys up here doing it. Frag-wise, there's Canada Corals, Incredible Aquariums. There's all these shops. But, you want to go local if you can. You guys love the fact. I mean, I like going to the fish store.
Yeah.
Right? So for us, it's a little harder, but, we'll make the effort. Actually, Lisa, if I remember, you said you're in Aurelia? You're up in Ontario? As I recall. And for her, she's got, I think there's like 6 Big Owls. They have shark shows, everything up there.
Wow.
That's great. I wish. I'm not going to get in the tank with it because, like I said, I got that irrational fear of sharks, but I definitely would stand there and, I'd be the guy in the tank if I lost my mind going, it's got my leg. Yeah,
I'm closing all my open calls and hangouts.
There you go. You're in Kitchener. Yeah, so you're pretty close, and you got Big Owls in that. So you're in pretty good shape. A lot easier to get equipment. Oh boy, it's going to be a lot easier for you to get equipment, which is great. That's what you want. The ease of getting at it makes it better. But I tell the ones I get into it down here, stick with it. Save up for your orders because you can get free shipping after $150 with a lot of these guys, right? And oh wow, no, don't even talk about that, man. Oh no. I wouldn't.
Oh.
I love sharks. I love watching shows on sharks. I don't watch Shark Week either because now I know they lie too much. But they're a fascinating creature. What kind of sharks? Did you see anything above reef sharks? Did you see a great white, a tiger shark?
walked through a acrylic hallway at Ripley's Believe It or Not aquarium with the sharks.
Oh yes, yeah.
That was really cool. They had everything. They had the hammerheads and the one with the big hedge clipper on its nose.
Yep. Oh, swordfish or whatever they call that. No, sawfish.
Yeah,
sawfish or whatever
stuff in there.
They are, and usually sand tigers, like the guys with the real funny looking teeth.
Yep.
Yeah, look like mom didn't pay for a dentist. Yeah. A tiger and a bull. Yeah, two of the best ones to play with. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely, what a great hobby. I mean, let's think about that for a sec, right? People look at me like I'm crazy that I think clownfish are fascinating. I said, you got to watch them. Watching my female clown do her little wiggly dance and trying to get the male interested. And, I can just watch it for hours.
Yep. That's why I put a little metal track behind it. I was inspired to write that by watching my clownfish.
Yeah, that would, well, the wife watched it. She thought it was great, Dave.
I get inspired to get the fishing pole out of the garage every time I see mine.
Yeah. Now you don't like your clowns? You're mad at your clowns, or you just want to go fishing?
Nah, I just want to get rid of them, honestly.
Yeah, they can be bullies in the tank.
They're fine if they don't have a clutch of eggs, but
yeah,
they're laying every 2 weeks, so there's like a week and a half there where they just beat the crap out of everything else.
Yep. Oh, when they're mating. Yeah.
Even my foxface, they'll pick on him. I'm like, you really want to do that? But whatever.
We got our bitches here too, Lisa. She said the freshwater community, for the most part, are a bunch of bitches. But
how true? You know what? I'll give freshwater one thing, and the one thing I love. And there's a tank. I forget the video on YouTube where it's literally a sand waterfall. Looks like through a mountainscape.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
And it's like, and we've all seen that. And I've tried it. And my favorite. And I coming back to Joey, King of DIY, and there's one thing I did get to say to him, and I'm like, you did your saltwater or your sand waterfall thing, right? And he goes, yeah, and he started to smile. I'm like, I tried it, and when I looked at that, I went, you know what? That's the lamest thing ever. I said, I want to know how the guy did this one, and I showed him on the phone. He went, yeah, everybody wants to do that one, right? And I went, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Kudos to those guys, but
I might have to give it a shot.
It's an air stone and tubing and then layout, right? So it's kind of cool, but I've never understood why those guys don't get along. Like cichlids are, lack of a better word, dicks, right?
Yeah.
That's like putting a bunch of, what's equivalent in our hobby? Just a fish that's always a butthead, hawkfish.
Maroon clowns.
Maroon clowns, yeah, exactly. Or Clarkies.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget tomatoes.
And tomatoes, my favorite. Here you go. I'll give you a reason to stay away from them, Lisa. A friend of mine bought 2 Clarkies and put them in the tank last, right? Because she was told to do this. And those 2 Clarkies killed everything else when they made it. That was it. It was over. It was game on. And from that point, it was game on no matter what. And he said to me, he goes, well, I did what everybody said. And I went, well, the thing is that everybody should have also told you they're butthead fish.
Yep.
They're extremely aggressive and they have a very large territory, right? I said, if you've got a 40-gallon tank and 2 Clarkies, guess what? Nothing else goes in that tank. Yeah.
I had a pair of maroon clowns. I had a dog-face puffer, a trigger, and a yellow tang. And the maroon clown killed its mate, and then she just kept everybody at bay in that tank. Everybody was like, had to go on the other side of the 120.
Yeah.
The one side was hers.
Oh, that's
her and enemy. It was the stupidest looking tank ever. Because it's like, why don't a fish only swim over there? I was like, oh, she's a bitch.
Yeah, that's bad news. Yeah. Yeah, and there you go. There's things you're going to run into, like I don't know if I told that story. So there's a guy here, that Maritime Reef store. That guy had 2 second-generation frostbite clowns.
Mm-hmm.
and paid a fortune to get them because they came right from ORA. That was big deal kind of thing going on. And just about 2 months ago, I think now, the female flipped out. Male didn't want to mate. She was doing her little dance, so she killed him.
Huh.
And he is devastated because we're talking about what, a $400, $500 fish. And I'm like, well, that's not the important part. You killed the male, man. Right? And he's like, no, it was worth. And I went, oh, so you're coming at it from a financial point of view, huh? Okay. Right. I'm sad that your fish died, man. I said, I'm heartbroken when I lose a fish. Yeah. Coral, I feel for you, Pat. I do, man. Like, I saw what was going on in your tank there, and it's like, oh, I know that feeling. Why is everything dying?
It could have been worse. It could have got to the expensive stuff.
Yeah, and thankfully it hasn't. Knock on wood, it doesn't.
Yeah, I'm knocking on wood hard.
Somebody else want to come in and shoot the breeze? Anybody? Oh, there's Straight Reefer. But yeah, I'm going to keep this going for a bit. I just want to get the view time up and see where this all goes.
Yep. Yeah. I need to maintain a certain amount of view time because once I get back to 1,000 subs, they're going to look at my view time in the review.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm thinking, Dave? You know what'll be next? It's like, oh, streaming doesn't count. That'll be next, right?
Right.
Because they'll know we figured it out. If we stream, then we can get the view hours up to go with our subs, right?
Right.
By the way, thank you to everybody who subs. Don't forget to like what we're doing right now. That's really helpful, I guess, as well.
You're good. 9 for 9. No thumbs downs.
Nope. So
that's a good scorecard.
We'll try to stay on topic, but welcome to the world. We don't all just have fish, so.
Right.
And coral.
What do we cover? Diabetes, sharks,
mold,
butthead LFS owners.
Is YouTube account your wrenches? I don't know what you mean, Lee. Whoever's running the stream gives out the wrenches. That just means you're a moderator and you have certain abilities. You can post links, throw people out.
Yeah, if Dave sees somebody messing up or that I don't catch or something or being rude or being, and I hate to say this, but, pretty girl sitting in chat, nice little picture there, decides to get a little too, shall we say, forward.
Right.
That would be somebody that, no, we don't want you in here. No.
Right.
Right.
Or if you come in here, hey, you saw my channel, and that's it. That's the first thing we heard from you. You're going to be gone.
And you know what? I'm okay. You want to come in here and talk about your channel and stick around? Great.
Sure.
But, I agree with Rico, I guess, a little bit on that front. If somebody just comes in and, hey, and I don't know what happened there at one point. I thought it was me he was talking about, but it can't be me. Coming in and, saying you're being too forward or something or whatever. I have no idea. But I was just getting ready to.
No, I wasn't you.
No, I didn't think it was.
Somebody came in, first time we ever saw the name, and they were like trying to get everybody to go over to their channel. And that's just, they could do that all night long, find a live stream.
Somebody kept saying, come in and go watch my channel or come sub me, or I can't remember what they said last night.
You know what I mean? And that's fine. But you know what? Start off first. Get to know everybody. You know what I mean? You don't just. Right. Yeah. I can't say it because we're on YouTube, but there's a saying we used to have in the band. You can walk up to any girl in the bar and say blah, and 50 times, and at least one will take it, right? Yeah, but the other 49 smack you in the face. You know what I mean? So it's the same idea. Yeah.
Dave, last night after you left, and
unless you're the guitar player.
Yeah, unless you're the guitar player, then I can get away with anything. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah.
How like last night you left and I didn't have controls or anything. I don't think, but
you did, but you don't know how to use them.
Yeah, well, I don't have a laptop, so yeah, some dirty stuff went on, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear about it?
I heard a little something about it. I had to go because, I had a long day with the wheel. And then every time I started to say a sentence, Alex G finished it for me. And I was like, I can't do this. I'm going to yell at him. I don't want to make him look bad, but you got to let everybody talk. There's 10 people in the room. It's not all about Alex G.
Yeah, you said you had to go take a break, so I figured you was out. So
Yeah, I took a break. I went down. I turned off my RODI. Thanks, guys, for texting me at 2 a.m.
Oh, I'm sure you appreciated that.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with a lot of it. And I tend not to speak out in anyone else's stream because it's their stream, it's their sandbox, right?
Yeah.
I'm not there to, scratch up the kitty litter for you and make a mess, right?
Mhm.
And it should be like that. You know what I mean? Respect is respect.
Right.
And that's all it's about. It's just respect. Don't come in here doing that. You come in talking, and then you want to talk about your change. You did it with me, Dave. After a little bit, and I said I don't want to, and he's like, no, go ahead. And if I get the go ahead, sure. Well, here, Reefer Madness, right? My big joke is at some point I want to use that scene, the one with the guy sitting in the chair doing the crazy laugh in the Reefer Madness movie,
Right.
and I want to put in a fish tank in front of him. You know what I mean? I'm going to put that in hit film and do it, and say, that's the addiction, right? Like you go crazy for this hobby when you get there, right?
Oh, you had some influence on the phone call. Okay, no, I appreciate it. And I did say somebody remind me, that I'm making RO water, but I did turn it off before I went to sleep.
Excellent.
And I was just getting really sleepy. I mean, I was just like in that zone, and then the text went off, and I was like, "What if it's my son?" That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
well, at least somebody cared to do that. I wish somebody had caught me before I pumped 50 gallons through 3 floors.
Well, I set it up. This is better than Alexa.
Yeah.
And Jeff has my number, so he texts me.
Yeah, somebody had that happen the other night that Rico went, Alexa, turn off or something like that, and then actually shut the guy's whole system down.
Yeah, because we were always teasing him. I always make Alexa feed his fish because Alexa's in his apex somehow.
Oh, that's got to be fun. Yeah. No, it's my goal is I want to do the Apex with a extra PM1 module. That'll be my goal at some point, just to automate things. But I can, and I understand people who don't want to do that. They're scared of it. But you know what? You're the one giving it control, so you should learn it before you just give it control, right?
Right.
Because you don't need it. It's not necessary to have a controller. Timers are a good idea, by the way, but that's just for your lighting, right? So
I'll probably never have one.
I'm not spending $800 on something.
Oh, I know. It's $1,079 in Canada for the first one, and the PM1 modules another. Guess what? $200, right? So
yeah. Well, I used to have an alarm and a Demco alarm running my system through X10 modules and everything. That was fun. It was basically the same size as timers, but they were just automated through the control box, and it was fun. But it didn't need to be there.
Well, a great story on lighting. My brother-in-law got into the hobby. I sold him one of my 20-gallon tanks. I sold him a couple of clowns, Boris and Natasha, straight Oscillaris clowns, and he was doing great. And he goes, I'm going to build my own lighting timers and everything. I said, oh, you are? Okay. Well, I'd like to see that. And he bought those strip LEDs.
Yep.
The ones I'm talking about, and he set them up with a DMX, module, and did all this. And I went and looked at his tank, and he said, "What do you think?" And I went, "Well, you're getting pretty good at growing algae." And he just, he's my brother-in-law. I can get away with that. I'm just, ribbing him hard, and yeah, that's pretty much all he did, right? And I said, "Well, it's because your spectrum's off." Right? You got to understand spectrum. It isn't that you just have blue lights. It's a certain spectrum of blue lights. It's a certain spectrum of whites, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, you did it. I said, yeah, right up until I almost set my house on fire. I went, nope, I'm done with this. I'll just buy them. Thanks. Right. Mm-hmm. I use them for supplemental lighting and stuff. And apparently my big male cat's in here meowing at me. What do you want, buddy? Yeah. But
just fluorescent bulbs blue? Come on.
Yeah, I have heard of that. That's not that far off.
Put a little window tint around them.
Yeah, can you? Oh, yeah, my God! How hard is it to paint the back of your tank black? And this guy bought window tint and said this is easier. And I watched him putting it on. And I would have been done if it was paint.
Yeah.
Right? Why would you put yourself through that? Right?
Little short nap roller, you're done. Zoop, zoop, zoop. It's almost not even worth, Yeah,
the effort. Yeah, exactly. $2 at the dollar store for a sponge roller and a what do you call it? Paint tray.
Right.
And I said to him, I said, you can even buy spray paint, take it outside, and done.
Right.
No,
No, mine was a little too heavy, 1/2-inch glass and all.
Oh yeah, big tank. Yeah, big tank would be a little more involved. Yeah. So, anybody else got any reefing related questions? No matter what it is, no stupid questions. Only stupid people.
Unless you're an asshole.
Yeah, there we go.
If you came in here last week and asked a question and we answered it and told you what to do, and you came in this week and asked it again and didn't do what we said last week, then you're an asshole.
There we go.
What do we call those? Mike Lemmings.
Mike Lemmings, yeah.
Yeah, that's. And DeAndre told him just kick his tank over and get it over with.
Yeah, be done with it. And that's not even being. And there's the thing, right? So I got told I'm an elitist, and I'm like, what? Why would you say that? I said, it's not like I'm asking you for your gear score and achievements.
So has metal halide improved over the years? Yes, I've heard the ballasts are much more electric bill friendly.
Yeah,
And,
a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know because, anything that's improved and new is expensive. But I had an old Coral Life metal halide over one of my tanks, and that was gorgeous. The light, the look of that tank was just gorgeous. And all I had in it was sea anemones, but they loved it. I loved it.
Well, look at Malev's Reef there. Look at it, Mark Levinson's tank there. I mean, that's metal halides. That's absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
But also I priced up what he had, and it was more than my whole setup cost me. So, but I mean, go ahead.
Loki got Bubba with the $2 tax for saying Mike Lemming.
Mike Lemming. There we go.
I've heard that the reef brights aren't the metal halides don't really get hot either.
Right.
That's a big improvement. Because somebody was asking about chillers today, and I said, unless you live in an ambient air above 80 degrees or you're running metal halides, not really necessary.
Yeah. Coralust is the new $2 word. And since he doesn't have a super chat, I don't have to pay.
No. No super chat yet. Not out to bilk anybody for nothing.
No.
At some point, I'm sure it'll be there, but it isn't there now, and it won't be for a bit.
Yeah, need 1,000 subs. It's not an easy task.
Nope.
Come back in a year.
Takes halfway there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, I haven't even looked today, but I think my next goal is 80 subs, and I'm only 3 away. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. You need something recorded and sounding like a movie guy, I'll do it for you.
The voiceovers.
Yeah.
I did that the other night on Rico's stream while Joey was on.
Oh, yeah?
Talking about tech talk, and I got real close to the mic, and I said, tune in Thursdays. And Joey's like, what is that? How do I get that?
Yeah, exactly. It's like in the town in Truro, Nova Scotia. It's not that far off. I get I've done a little bit for people, but not a lot. And, or at least it's spreading the penetration of power. Yes, it does. And don't ask me. I do not deal with metal halide, but 1K in 2020. Oh, Bubba, yeah. Yeah, well, when you have 1,000 subscribers in 2025, then we can all dance the dance of the happy pilgrim. Yeah.
Bubba had a couple hundred subs before he dropped the video, just from being in the live streams.
Just from being in the live stream. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sub everybody up, they'd sub him back. And then he dropped his first video last month.
Actually, that's kind of cool. Do you know how, I'll tell you a quick short story from my end. I had one video up of my Fluval 45, and that's what I needed, my Fluval 45-gallon tank, and never thought anything of it again. And I came back, and it had 1,500 views.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'll start a channel, and I have never hit that again. Apparently. Everything should just be my Fluval 45, but
I strong-armed everybody into subbing Lisa when she was in the Rico's live stream.
Good.
So whatever you had, you got more.
Yeah. And I don't clickbait. So
yeah, me neither.
Just don't see the point. I'm not out to lie, and I know everyone thinks it's an acceptable thing, but it's like, you won't believe what happened to my car today. And it's like, what? You washed it?
Yeah.
I can guarantee you one thing, that if you pick a topic to talk about in a video and it's the current in thing, you're going to get tons of views from it.
I thought about it, and there are things we should talk about, like the Triton method. Well, we all know why nobody's doing it. Fish a Hex answered the question. I can't get it.
Right.
So,
oh, I tore apart one of those UFO grow lights, and that's a pretty good video on my channel. So.
Yes, it is. I've seen it. That's how I found you.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, that was one of the topics. A lot of people were buying them for the refugium and wanted to know more about them. So I didn't really cover spectrum or anything like that. I don't have a parameter, but I tore one apart and showed you what was inside.
Yep, and why not? That's the important part, is what is it you're buying? It's like the Mars Aquas. You're buying a license plate with a couple of power supplies.
Yeah, that's sufficient, though.
And it's good enough, and the only thing is, watch your light for the first few days, because, yes, they have caught on fire, because a 5% failure rate is acceptable in China. So,
yep. Well, if the fan stops working, it's over.
Yep.
I was talking to Travis about his, because we talk on Facebook and stuff, and he was messaging me earlier, and he was like, "Man, I've got this troll on my last video," and it just burnt right through him. And his name was what was the guy's name? Brian something. I'm trying to find it, but he pretty much told Fish a Hex, instead of trying to spread out your doses and stuff, why wouldn't you just do a water change? And then Travis, it kind of pissed him off, because he virtually told Travis, "I've been running Triton, and why didn't you just wait till it comes in stock?" And Travis is like, "Nobody can get it."
Nope.
Like, you're trying to tell Fish of Hex, and the guy knows everybody. If he can't get his hands on it, how are you doing it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I love his vids. I love what he's doing. I think he's doing a fantastic job. If you are not signed up to Fish of Hex, go sub Fish of Hex. Yeah. That guy grows coral. That's flat out knows his stuff. And that's unfortunate what happened with his bathroom leaking and getting into his frag system.
Yeah.
That sucks. And he said it was poor planning on his part. And I'm thinking, you wouldn't have thought of it. I wouldn't have looked up and at the pipes and thought, what's that? I would never have assumed that would have leaked. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Leaks suck. Look at Farm Boy Reef.
Yeah. Oh, wow. 700-gallon tank blowout. That's, oh, I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, that would make some people walk away from the hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a video up of one guy somewhere on YouTube here. If you look up, tank blowout or tank leak, and his 400-gallon reef blew out over his living room.
All right. One of our friends in the community, Paul Blaney, went to a friend's house and drilled his 125 without checking to see if it was tempered while it was full with fish and coral, and it blew the whole side of the tank out. And was it clickbait? Maybe. It was at Reefapalooza, so there's about 20 of us from the hobby, not maybe 10 of us, all YouTubers hanging out outside, and look what the F Paul just did on YouTube.
Wow.
So,
wow.
A 125 emptying out the side. At least it was a Florida house, so there was no basement.
Oh, yes, I saw that one. I know which one you're talking about, actually.
Yeah. That's our buddy Paul Blaney. He hasn't been around for a while because he started a new endeavor. He's building screen enclosures in Florida, and it's taken off like a bandit.
Well, awesome. Always good.
Yeah. Last time I was down there, I went to Marco Island like two years ago down in Florida. It's down by Naples, but if you drive like on the back roads, like there's multi-million-dollar houses that have pretty much driving range size cages in their backyards. So.
Yeah. just so that they can go out without getting bit. Yeah.
Yep.
Why not?
Well, that and the lizards. And
Yeah, it keeps the crap out of your pool too.
Keeps everybody out of your pool too. Yep. No, it's definitely how really, you can drill a tank while it's up. Yes, you can, but you might want to check if it's tempered, folks.
Yep, got a video on that.
That's
really? Got a cell phone and polarized glasses. You can do it.
Yeah, it doesn't take long. Yeah, but just trying to think.
Mm-hmm.
What else can we talk about? We need someone else in here. Who wants to come in?
I had a 20 high tank, and when I tested it, the one of the fronts was tempered and one wasn't. So there you go. Aqueon tanks even says it. Sometimes we have extra tempered glass and we use it, and every panel of the tank could be tempered.
Yeah, that'll do it.
So when I go into Petco and they have the $1 per gallon sale, I have polarized glasses with me before I buy a tank.
And go look for the tank that isn't tempered. Yeah, exactly. Be safe. Yeah. What, buddy?
Good night, Lisa.
I can't believe they got rid of the 40 gallons and the $1 per gallon sale.
Yeah. Thanks for coming in. No, it's you were saying there. Sorry, Murph, I didn't mean to cut you off. Just want to say night to Lisa. She was the first one that came in when I put it up. So.
Well, I was just saying, I'm discouraged they quit doing the 40-gallon breeders and their $1 per gallon sale.
I heard that. So they took them off. So you can't buy a 40-gallon breeder on the $1 sale anymore. They just have it on the 20s and stuff. Or
it goes up to 29, and then 40s and 55s are 50% off, which is still a nice savings. So a 40 costs you $50.
That's not bad, yeah. But it's not $1 a gallon anymore, is it now?
Right.
Yeah. And I think it cut off at 40 anyway, didn't it? Because somebody tried to buy a 120 or something for $120 or something.
No, they were doing 55s, and some stores carried 75s.
Yeah.
There you go. And still a 75 gallon for $75. That's pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now they're 100, I think, 75 gallon tank.
That's not bad.
Still good.
That's not bad. No.
Yeah, I got a local guy trying to give me a 75 gallon that's fully stocked.
I was typing and talking. Sorry, guys. I wasn't saying goodnight, guys. I was saying goodnight to Lisa, and I typed night, guys.
That's all right. That's all right.
Maybe I should go.
I'm getting ready to get off here in a few minutes. I need to get some sleep because I got the walkthrough tomorrow at Lazy's. So.
No, I was watching the news about the nor'easter coming, see what I'm in for. And
absolutely. Well, maybe what we'll do is we'll answer Straight Reefer's question, because Dave runs Mars Aquas and so do I, Straight Reefer. But Dave, what are the cons that you found to the Mars Aquas?
I really haven't, to be honest. If your Mars Aqua is good, if you look at Chinese black box, there's 4 or 5 different manufacturers you could buy. Mars seems to be the best one, just in the spectrum, and they're always consistent. If you buy like light time tunnel and you buy a light this month and you buy another light next month, well, the spectrum's going to be completely different between the lights, because it's just whatever they had on the shelf and built a light out of it, and they got to stamp their name on that one.
Yeah, whereas with Mars Aqua, they're fairly consistent.
So I really don't have a con to them, except for that you can't ramp up and down. And to me, I don't think that's a necessary thing anyway. You have 2 plugs, so if you buy 2 cheap timers, you can have them on timers. Blues come on. To me, that's ramping up. Start with the blues, then the whites come on an hour later, and then whites go off an hour before the blues go off. And that's my day.
Same here. Go ahead, Murph.
So I got the black boxes that do ramp up, but for the price that I paid for them, if I would have known, I would have got something better.
Right.
Not necessarily better, but for the price I paid for them, you could buy something you could already control with your phone.
Yep.
Or spend another $100 and get a reef link with it, or whatever. But
did you get the Evergrows? Was that the ones you got?
The ones I got are called Euphoticas.
Euphoticas, okay.
They're 16-inch, but they got you can program them for every half hour, and you can program both channels to ramp up or down, however you want them. But
Right. That's cool.
they're awesome. I mean, the only thing I notice about them is the blues are a little bit different than the higher priced LEDs. Maybe not hitting the exact nanometer they're supposed to, or something.
Right.
The blue spectrum, but like in my tank, I got a coral that is more green than anything, and higher like radions and stuff. It turns into like more of a purple and green and yellow and orange color.
Right.
I have no experience with the Ocean Revives. I don't know if anybody else in that talking wise that does, but
I do, but if you want to take your take on the black boxes, I'm sure you got enough to say about them. Or I can just answer quickly what I think about the Ocean Revive.
go right ahead, Dave.
Okay. Ocean Revive might have a better spectrum layout. It's definitely got better build quality, better heat sinks, and it's got that built-in timer. Now the timer doesn't ramp up and down. It does just do the 2 channels with timers. You know, whatever you set them to, they'll come on at that setting and they'll go off when you tell them. But I mean, Rico's grew his tank for 2 years on Ocean Revives, and it's gorgeous. So they do work.
Yep.
I don't know if it's a better light or not than the Mars Aqua. I don't know spectrum wise. Like I said, I don't get into all that. But
Exactly.
It's built
Right. And as we were talking about earlier, I modify mine.
Right.
My Mars Aquas, I actually change out some of the LEDs for certain spectrum, and they work great. You know, that tank you're looking at in my picture is actually, and I wish it was more than just a circle because that's a whole picture, but that's the way Hangout is. But that tank is lit off 2 Mars Aquas, and that's a 120. So.
Right.
How much are the Ocean Revives?
They're under $200. I've seen them for about $160. You know, is considered a good price.
The T247s or
whatever it is. Yeah,
I think it's Arctic 247s.
Yeah,
those Orphic lights are fantastic, but oh wow, the price on those buggers is something.
I had somebody tease me, say they could send me one, and then they backed out at the last minute. So
oh man,
I would gladly try some stuff, but that's my fear with it too. Is no, I don't want to send it back.
Oh no, it was going to be a gift.
It was going to be a gift. Oh.
By another YouTuber, and then he says, "Oh, deal fell through." I was like, "Why'd you even mention it, man?" And now I'm pissed. I was so happy, Oh.
Yeah, that Orphic V4, the Atlantic V4, I think it is. Yeah, that's a hell of a light. But again, it's your funds, right? If you don't have the money and you're trying to do this on a budget, you're not going to go wrong with Mars Aquas or Ocean Revive. You're really not, either one.
Right.
Okay, but with the Orphic Atlantic, that's a huge light.
Well, the new one isn't. They just came out with a newer model.
Yeah, the new one's what, a 24-inch, I think.
That's a big light to me.
Right. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, compared to a Mars Aqua, that's what, 16, I think.
Yeah.
So it is a much bigger light. But it again, you're dealing with. I don't even know what the comparison would be of a Ferrari versus buying yourself a Jetta. You know what I mean? The Jetta's going to get you there, but the Ferrari's going to do things a lot different for you, right?
Yeah. I just want to see how the comparisons will be after they've been out for a couple years against the Radions and.
Yep. Yeah, how are they going to do against the big boys, right? AI and Radeon.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which are the same company, by the way.
Right.
Aqua Illumination, I think, was bought out by Radeon, as I recall.
Well, the funny thing is, okay, so I got gifted a set of AI, the old the lights that they had before the Primes came out.
Sol?
3-puck. No, it wasn't the Sol. It was just like a Hydra or something.
Right, okay.
I don't know.
Really
it looks like a Hydra 52. It's just not the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yep.
So with those things, you either have to have an apex or this thing called a director. And anyways, I found a director on a SPS site on Facebook. I got it, whatever. But um, I don't know. I don't know if I like them though, man. Honestly, I like the black box look that it gives a tank over the AIs.
Mhm.
I feel the same way. I had a chance to get some of the Soul, right? The SOLs, and they're too blue. They're too blue all the time, right? So even when they go to the full spectrum, they're still very blue.
Well, like if I turn the whites up on these, it actually turns stuff yellow.
The spectrum, yeah. So the spectrum's much more towards the warm
Right.
than the
Right.
cool. Yeah.
Or
It's
your water's
weird.
dirty. Or your water's dirty.
Nah,
Put
I
some
could
of your water in a white bucket, see if it looks yellow.
it don't.
Okay. Well, just saying.
No, and I agree with Straight Reefer there, Bubba. AI Vegas, totally different ballgame. That was
Mhm.
kind of when AI really stepped into the market hard. Yeah.
Right.
So
Vegas were the lights that they made right before these ones I have. So.
Yeah. But
Get an
yeah.
exclusive here. You guys are getting an exclusive here.
There we go. Nice little. What was that, Ganies or Olivia?
Yeah, tiny
Or
little
pulsing,
gummies.
yeah.
Hold on, I'm missing it. I don't have my thing up. Hold on.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just running it video while we're talking that I just uploaded.
Your lights are still on. Mine have been on for over 3 hours now.
No, this was taken this afternoon.
Oh, it's this afternoon. There we go.
Yeah, I just uploaded the video into my computer just to see it, and then I'll do a voiceover and upload it again. So
I'll probably cut this off here in about 10 minutes, guys, because it's getting a little late in my part of the world.
Yeah.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm sure we're all getting tired anyway, and we'll all get up, hang out at Rico's tomorrow.
Rico's going to be on the road tomorrow.
Oh, is he? Well, there you go. So maybe if, depending on how my day goes, maybe I'll pop up and throw something up for us all to shoot the breeze.
I think there's a freshwater one. There's a freshwater show in Maryland. Is that where he's going, Murph?
Yeah, I think, somewhere around there.
And I think Joey's going to be there too.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. So he'll probably live stream from there. But if the signal sucks, maybe I'll throw one up so he can jump in.
Here we go.
Yeah. This is supposed to be craptastic out tomorrow, so I doubt I'll be playing with the car.
They got your tank?
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing's coming a long way.
Yeah. It's looking
Yes,
good.
Yes, sir. Every week there's something new to look at. There's some new growth.
Good God.
Yeah, those are clove polyps. Look how the hammer beat them back on the top there. Right up there.
Wow.
The hammer just popped them back. And what the hell is this, Murph? This green thing I got from Rico. This thing was a brown little stub. I'll zoom in on it in a minute. Yeah. I know it's an acro, but this was a dumb brown little stub for like months. It didn't do anything. I thought it was dead. And then it just started spitting out all these little side things.
I don't know.
When he gave it to me, I thought he said, this is a tricolor Valletta. It'll plate and it will branch.
Maybe. Maybe.
But it's not tricolor. You know,
No,
for a
it's
while
green.
it was just trying to be a color. It was brown. But
Yeah,
I'll take
but
it.
now that kind of gets back to the lighting issue too, I think.
Right.
Spectral blend. But
Yeah, so maybe my Mars Aqua isn't bringing out the right colors in them. So maybe it's not a great light. It's growing, but it's not showing its full potential, you know?
yeah, but zoom out, man. Most of your stuff looks great.
Yeah, everything looks nice and healthy.
Yeah, that's a Gonapora there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Julian's Golden not a Gonapora, Gorgonian.
I remember when you bought that.
Yeah, it was a little stupid stub with some
Little
sticks.
one.
Did you?
Nice, man.
Damn
It
stunner.
looks excellent. Oh, so jealous. I was so heartbroken. I had a multicolor Montipora. Rainbow.
Yeah.
There it is, Rainbow Montipora. And I love that thing, and it was doing great. And then I forget how it went, but the event that happened in my water column, it just melted away on me in a couple of days. And
Right. Anybody want some gold pallies?
Oh, that's okay. I deal with enough pallies, thanks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. You got them growing up the glass.
Yep.
I'll hopefully get the video working tomorrow. I got a buddy who said he's going to lend me an extra webcam, so I'll be able to put a cam up here and then put the other one out on the tank.
Right.
And hopefully, what I'm going to be able to do is show you guys, like in the middle of that picture there, you see the on the bottom in the sand on a rock is the green velvets, blue-green velvets.
Right.
And those things are like they're infestation level pallies, right? And off in the sand, and you can just barely make it out in the picture. A little dot there. That's 4 of them that have already bailed out, and they're sitting in the sand.
Wow.
So they just want to go, right? Like they're, I keep telling newbies, look, they're cheap, they're easy. If you don't put them in the sand away from everything else, they'll own your tank, and then when you're trying to get rid of them, you're going to kill yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
You see how furry my green slimer is, Pat?
Oh, that looks great.
Looks like a willy worm standing up.
Yep.
That's
that a Tina?
You got great growth there, man.
Yeah, that thing was just one little nub. It's branching out every way.
Look at that go.
Yep. So,
am I seeing this live? You record this earlier, you said, right?
Yes. And this is what you could do, Craig. You could just take a video, have it on your computer, and just share your screen and play it.
I think that's what I'll do. That'll be a lot easier, especially to focus in on stuff for people and like here, because there's nothing, my favorite is the red turf algae videos are the one that built my channel. And it turned out I didn't have red turf algae. Right? It's like, sorry guys, I just have a really aggressive purple coralline, which is more of a maroon, and it's decided to be infesting. So I now have to, and it's what was soaking up all my calcium and all my magnesium, and it was it's chewing on everything. And I'm like, okay. And I figured out when it started, and it was a certain coral. It got in the tank, and when I scraped the back of the tank, I spread it. It just went nuts. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, and then everyone's like, well, do you hate it? I said, no, it's gorgeous. Look at it. Right? It's problematic, but it's gorgeous. My rocks look great. Go, get away from me, right? So I'm probably going to get an urchin, so I can start scrubbing it down a bit. Go ahead.
Looking Aptasia. No.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Oh, you got to do something about that, Dave.
Get right in there with pop paste. Next time my arm's going to be to my armpit deep in the tank.
Yeah. Trying to tell people, like, look, you got Aptasia, right? Yeah. Listen, relax. Number one. Right? It's just an anemone. Yes, it can be infestation levels, and you don't want to get to there, but it's not that hard to deal with. Go get a couple peppermint shrimp. Make sure it's a bloody peppermint shrimp.
Right.
Not a camel, not a, something else, right? Make sure your local fish shop knows what they're talking about. Oh, wow. The poor little shop here that I did a little video on the LFS tour. And I'm hoping to do my guy in Fredericton soon, but he's a very nervous Nelly kind of fella. They were selling peppermint shrimp, and I looked, that's not a peppermint shrimp. Right? Huh. The tall, lanky fella that works the store there, he's like, what is it? I went, I'm pretty sure that's a camel shrimp.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay. He goes, well, what's the problem with them? I said, they eat coral. Yeah. Right? I said, they're not going to care what they get a hold of. I said, if they get big enough, they eat fish. Yeah. Right? And he's like, oh. I said, you better label that right, and make sure you tell people that's a risk they can run, right? But if they want to buy it, let them buy it. And people bought them, and I'm just like, wow, there's somebody crying in the middle of the night here somewhere. Right? Okay. And it's not a mean thing. It's just, what? We all learn by making mistakes, right? So.
What's that one, Dave?
This one where the pointer is? That was my purple stylo from Rico.
That's a stylo for
peppermint shrimp stripped it out. Left me with one little nub. So it's finally branching again. It was I could only save like that much of it, and this is what's grown out of it. So.
I can't get growth like you guys do, man. I don't know how you guys do it.
They do.
Put them in a tank, Murph. Get them off the frag rack. Enjoy them.
That could be part of the problem, I guess. But
no, I don't think it's a problem. But I find once they can plate out onto a rock and they get their foothold, that's when they start shooting up.
Yeah.
So on the frag plug, they only seem to do so much. But that's the one that. This is the one that STN'd, this silo here.
Oh, that's
Yep.
too bad.
It stopped. It was only in the middle. I may zoom in on it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's the end. The guy right next to it's fine.
You gonna snip it off or just leave it there?
I'm gonna leave it there, see if it grows back.
Yeah.
Or I'll make 100 frags for my friends. Take every tip off.
Let it grow a little bit more.
You ever see a Monty do this? Just skirt before it plates?
Nope.
That's sweet.
It looks like it's dripping.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
jealous. So jealous. Yeah.
Miracle Mud, Reefroids, and Fuel.
I think it's going to be Miracle Mud for me. That's going to be the next one. I think I'm going to do my fuge, and I'm going to put a nice big tray of 10 or 12 pounds of Miracle Mud in the bottom of the fuge.
Mm-hmm.
I just added mine last week. Or this week. It was this week, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Well, all right, folks. It's 3 a.m. in the morning where I am, and getting late. I'm sure we're all getting a little tired, and we're all just sort of oohing and on over Dave's wonderful tank.
Yep.
It's a Matchbox 20 song.
Yeah, exactly. So one of us will be up, I'm sure, tomorrow, whether it's Dave or me or it's Rico, whatever the case may be, and I'll see you guys all there.
Yep.
See
Have a
you
good
on the
night.
video.
Night, guys.
Good night.
Bye.
And thanks for coming. And if you thumbed up, I appreciate it so much. Take care.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Good night.